Hi guys, this is a video for my dad. It's in order for him to train, to gain strength, mobility, and it's also gonna serve you for those that have the same goals, okay? So it's gonna be first a warm-up and then a quick routine. Just gonna be a circuit that you can repeat as many times as you want. Okay, so the first part of the warm-up is just shoulder circles in order to stretch them, create some blood flow. So do it slowly, feel them, and do it in both directions. And then you can end up just stretching with your fingers, your wrist, and your shoulders. This will stretch from your fingers to your neck. And once you're here, you can point your thumbs backwards and stretch your neck also a little. Okay, next we're gonna open up the hips a little bit. So we can start with some easy hip circles. If you find a spot where you're especially tight, you can stay on it and open it. You can try with different leg positions. And then we're gonna use the deep position and the bottom position of the squat to open up the hips. So grab onto a pole or a rope or whatever helps you. Go into the deep squat as low as you can. If you can't go this low because your knee hurts or maybe your hips, you can stay where it already, it feels tight and you can open them. Okay, you can go lower, go lower. So maintain an upright back and work on it. Stay for about half a minute if you feel helping you. And then go up slowly, helping with your hands. The next exercise for the warm-up is going to help you maintain balance in your shoulders, because we're going to do many pulls which balance the external rotation with the internal rotation, and it's also going to help you warm up your shoulders. Shoulders, upper back, many small muscles that you can see but really help. Okay, so the first one is the face pull. You pull and you end up with your, like in a double biceps position, with your upper arm parallel to the floor in this vertical plane, and also your forearm in the same plane. Okay, so not like this. It's better to pull softlier and get to this position. Okay. When I do it, I feel a deep stretch, so it helps me warm up, and also it's a good position for me to move my neck slowly sometimes when I feel inside. This is something I do with many exercises. I just move the neck and relax it while I'm training. Okay, from this position, or if it's too hard, you can get closer to the band. We're gonna do 6 pulls. Okay, the first one is up, it's like an I or an L. You don't have to go too strong on this one, okay? Just go softly until the place you go. Then we're gonna go like a Y with your thumbs backwards. And then into a T with your palms up. Once it starts burning, you switch the grip and continue with a T, but this time with your thumbs facing forward and your palms down. Okay, be sure to maintain your shoulders back and down while you do every movement. Then you go into an arrow, and eventually you get to the end, which is just like an I, downwards. Okay, I suggest you start up and then you go lower, because the lower you go, the easier it gets. For the band pulls, do around, you can start with 5-10 reps for each movement, and once you get more endurance on these movements, you can go up to 20 or go by feel eventually. Okay, now we're gonna stretch a little bit the hip flexor with a yoga position which is called the warrior. Okay, so you let your backward leg turn slightly outwards. You make a big step. You face with your chest and look up, and don't overarch your back, your rib cage down. Okay, and now with your hips facing forward like this, you rotate them. We're gonna stretch your hip flexors among the other muscles. Go down till you can. If it's too tight, just stay here. If you can go low. And we take 5 or 10 breaths, as much as you need. Once you're done, you go back and you switch your leg. The next exercise for the warm-up and the stretching is gonna help you open up both your hips and your shoulders. Be careful, don't hurt your wrist. If it's too hard, you can make a little wrist warm-up that I'm gonna show you right now, okay? So first, we stretch a little bit for wrist without hurting them. Just feel a gentle stretch on them, okay? And then on the other side. And once we've stretched them, we're gonna strengthen them. And it's also we're gonna use it as a warm-up. So we put a little bit of pressure on them and we pull. The fingers remain on the floor and the wrist goes up. This is an exercise you don't wanna do too hard because you may hurt yourself instead of help yourself avoid injury. And then with the other side, we do the same, but very softly. Because if you do this too hard, you will open your wrist, which really hurts and takes a lot of time to recover from. Okay, once our wrists are okay, and if they don't, use some push-up handles, we're ready for the table. So get into this position with your shoulders back, and then you look up and slowly use your glutes to make your hips go up, okay? Don't arc in any exercise. You don't want to over arc your lower back, okay? So you use your abs to maintain a neutral spine and your glutes to extend your hips and open them. This is gonna stretch both your hip flexors, because we're extending the hips, and the front part of your chest and shoulders, since we are flexing the shoulders. Okay. Hold all the stretches and warm up with every exercise as much as you want, okay? Next we're gonna use the downward dog in order not only to stretch the hammies and lower back, but especially the calves, which stay very tight when we don't stretch them for a long time, okay? So put your hands on the floor. Okay, this is not gonna be a perfect downward dog. No? No. So this is not gonna be a perfect downward dog, but we're gonna use it to stretch our calves, okay? So we go into this position, like the downward dog, and then we switch our weight to only one leg, which is gonna be this one, okay? And we try to drive our heel into the floor, and we're gonna feel a stretch in the heel, in the calves, and in the lower part of the hamstrings. And here, if we want to make it a deeper stretch, we just flex our shoulders and put our chest in. Then we switch legs and repeat. Which helps this is to alternate this stretch with a contraction. So we go into the stretch, then we raise the heel slowly and we drive the heel down to the stretch, and then we contract it again and we go down. And then we switch legs. You can do this for 5 or 10 reps and stretch. You can stretch or use the exercise as you prefer. Try by yourself and see. Another exercise we can use to warm up and activate our core muscles and stabilizers is the beer height. Not the beer, it's the big foam. So we get into the floor on our hands and toes, and we don't put the knees on the floor. Okay? We stay here. We are not with our hips up, they're down. The knees are close to the floor without touching them. And then, bracing our core to stabilize, we're gonna advance. So we move a hand and the opposite leg. With a straight back, and without letting your hips go down, okay? We try to maintain the torso parallel to the floor. And we go forward and backward, and we can also play with going to the sides. And as the last exercise, to both stretch and warm up the hamstrings, we're gonna go down with a straight back with our hands here. We go back. The knees doesn't have to be fully locked, but they can have to be pretty straight. And we drive our hips backwards, like this, with a straight back, okay? Don't hunch. You don't have to reach for the floor, just your hips back, and then you go down. Then eventually you'll feel a very hard stretch here, so you maintain it, and you drive your hips forward, okay? If you have very poor mobility, first, brace your torso, your glutes, keep a straight back, and from here, go back and down as much as you can. If you're just still here, it's okay. You maintain it for a few seconds and you go up. You have a better mobility. You can keep going until you feel a stretch, hold it, and go up, okay? Okay, so that was the warm-up. Now we're gonna go into the circuit, which is composed of five exercises, which are made for strength. 5 exercises which help you with your mobility and keep your body healthy. So the first one is the shell and pull-up. Remember that in order to make it easy, you just have to be more vertical. And to make it harder, you just go forward. And then forward with your knees bent. And then with straight legs. Remember, the movement has to be done with the straight body from toes to head, and with your rib cage down and chest up. Okay, you pull first with your shoulders, then with your elbows, and then you close, helping with your biceps. This is the movement. Your body's a table, it's only your arms that are flexing. Okay, the first exercise for mobility we're gonna do just after the shell and pull-ups, because we're gonna be alternating strength and mobility, is a stretch for the back muscles that we just trained, okay? So you grab a pole or a rope, a ring, whatever, and then you open up your lateral chain, okay? So you're gonna feel the stretch here and here. What I do to feel the stretch here is I bring this leg back and to the side, and I open up here. And then you can hold that for maybe 20 seconds, and then you repeat on the other side. This is gonna feel really good, but don't overdo it. Just do it to relieve the tightness you may feel on them. The next exercise is the assisted squat. There are 2 forms of the assisted squats. First one is with a pole, the second one is with a chair or bench behind you. With a pole will be like this. Grab the pole, don't get too close, but you're gonna keep your chest closed. It's gonna help you stay forward, but with your heels on the floor, okay? So just go down, with your knees out, your heels on the floor and your chest up. You pause and you start going up. Okay? At the beginning you can help as much as you want yourself with the pole. You can even pull up, but eventually you just want to make it help you don't fall backward and stay forward. So you're pulling towards yourself, but not up. Okay, you go down slowly and you go up. If you don't feel the exercise very well, just go slow and feel it in the muscles, and eventually you'll be able to do it faster. Okay, the second variation of the squat that you can try instead of the pole-assisted squat is the squat called the box squat. Okay, so you bring your arm up, and forward, and you start the movement with your hips, and you're trying basically to just see it very slowly until you feel it, and then you pause and you go forward slowly and up. Okay? You have to control the movement in order to feel it. You start with a high chair, and as you progress, you just go down and down. So the next movement for mobility, the second one, is gonna be the warrior one, the one we did before at the warm-up. So just to remind you, it's like this, okay? And we're gonna feel it stretch this area, especially. And then you will repeat with the other leg. The next exercise is an exercise for your hip flexors and your lower abs, which is the hanging leg raise, or the variation we're gonna do first is the hanging knee raises. So you just hang with your shoulders back and down, so don't let your shoulders go up, just say back shoulders, your legs in front of yourself, and you just leave your knees slowly. Don't take momentum. This is something you wanna do slowly. You don't wanna, jerk. You just want to do it slowly. If you can't do this movement, just focus on hanging from the bar or the rings with your legs a little bit forward, like this. And once you can hold it for about 30 seconds or 40 seconds, you can try the knee raise. So third mobility exercise is the Thoracic Bridge that I learned from Max Shank. It's gonna help you with opening up your shoulders, your thoracic spine, and your hips. Okay? So the regular variation starts in the bear crawl, okay, position, and then you just turn, okay? So this shoulder goes up, and you let your hips drop. You put your feet down, you stay with your chest looking down while you drive your hips up. Okay? Use your glutes, don't let this hip go down, make it go up, and drive with your chest to your side. Okay? And look at your hand. You're just gonna stretch here and here. Okay? If this is too hard for you, just focus maybe on doing it with your leg down, which is easier to gain some strength here on your glutes, and also get close to a wall or a car or whatever, and just turn back, touch, and while you go back, you just don't go back, but you use your hips and your glutes to look forward while you're going to the side. And this stretches your thoracic spine. The next exercise is the push-up. This is our fourth exercise. There are already videos that I made, and then lots of people made about how to do push-ups, but the basics are straight body as always, keep your abs and your glutes braced, and your hip forward. Okay, shoulders back down and back. Get on the floor, shoulders width, and then you just go down slowly with your shoulders to the side. You don't go this way. You keep your elbows facing backwards. They don't have to be totally back, but you can have them a little bit to the side. Okay. So you go down You don't have to touch the floor, you just get pretty close, and then you push. If this is too hard, which will be when you're starting, just pick a place where you can raise your hands and do the same movement. Okay? You can put your heels down or not, that's not important. And you just do the same exercise. Once you can do about 20, you look for a lower object. Then after the push-ups, we're gonna stretch a little bit our shoulders and our neck, which can be already a bit tight. So we just go to the side. We try to separate the hands from our body and also shoulders, so we open all of this and go a bit back with the fingers. We can stretch the neck while we do it, and also like this. We do some outer rotation and then some inner rotation, and we just lose a little bit the arms. The next exercise and last exercise from this circuit is the Turkish Get Up. Okay? So we start on the floor. Look for a floor that is not this hard, because it's gonna hurt a little bit. Okay, but we start on the floor. At first, we won't be taking nothing on the hand. Eventually you can take a dumbbell, a kettlebell, or a sandbag in your shoulder, okay? But this is the basic movement. Arm up, we roll to the side, okay? So the same side of our arm that is up has to have our knee up, okay? We roll to the hand while looking at the hand that is up. Then we lift our hips, we take this leg back, then we switch our weight to our legs, and then we do a lunge, and then we do the rubbish progress. I'm looking up because here we're supposed to have a weight, and eventually it will help us stabilize it. Lunge, then slowly we go to the floor, up, hips up, leg forward, we go down, then we go slowly to the elbow, and then we roll back down. And we will do we can switch between reps for each side, or we can do a next number of one side and then repeat on the other one. And the last exercise we're doing for mobility is the downward, upward dog. Okay, so we start here. We can make more emphasis on our chest, okay, or on our legs. If we're not able to do both at the same time, we can switch. Okay, so this is the downward dog. I don't have the best mobility, so if I want more chest, I just flex my knees and stretch my torso. If I want to stretch my hammies, I just stretch my legs, even if I can't do the full torso stretch. And then from here, we just go forward, go back, and then we repeat the first process. Okay, you have thousands of videos on YouTube explaining how to do this exercise better, but you have the routine. Now let me tell you the range of reps you're looking forward, okay? First, on the Australian pull-ups, you want to select a variation that allows you to do between 5-6 reps and about 10. If you can do more than 10 Australian pull-ups, you have to go to a harder variation, okay? And I'm talking about reps on your first set when you're fresh. Then on the second exercise, the squats, you want to go up till 20. You can do 20 good reps with good form on your first set. Switch to a harder variation once you have mastered that technique and variation. For the hanging leg raises, 15-20 is also right. Okay, these are gross numbers, you can see by yourself. Then the push-up, for easier variation you have to go up till 20.
once you get into advanced moves, like from the regular push-up and close push-up forwards, when you work into the one-up push-up, I think 10 is okay. And then for the Turkish Get Up, you see by yourself. I think 5 by side are okay. When you're okay with it, start adding weight and more weight and more weight. Okay, this is all, guys. You have to do the last part of the warm-up of this. You have to do the circuit multiple times. If you just have time to do it once, do it once. But if you have time, I recommend doing it about 3 times. Okay. Thanks for watching and have a nice training. Bye.